turning the corner, he went straight in to these two people. The woman went on the curb, the man went up in the air. It was such a bang. I wish I never saw it, because it's really shaken me up.
Two 19-year-old students and a man in his 50s were stabbed to death, and a further 3 people injured when a stolen van was driven into them in an early morning rampage across Nottingham. A 31-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder. Counter-terrorism police were helping officers with their investigation, but Nottinghamshire police insisted they were keeping an open mind about the motive. The 2 students at Nottingham University were found unresponsive on Ilkeston Road, northwest of the city centre, at 4 a.m. on Tuesday. One of them was named locally as Barnaby Webber. Detectives believe the suspect then stole a white van, whose driver was later found stabbed to death on Magdala Road, 2 miles from where the teenagers were found. The van was then driven into people standing at a bus stop near Nottingham's Theatre Royal, approximately 5:30 a.m., leaving 1 man in critical condition and 2 others suffering minor injuries, police said. Officers said they were not looking for anyone else in connection with the attacks, and, during the hours afterwards, armed police staged a series of raids across the East Midlands city. The second student was named in media reports as Grace Kumar, a hockey player with the England under-18s. Nottingham University said the 2 teenagers were its students. It is with great sadness that we confirm the sudden and unexpected death of 2 of our students following a major incident in Nottingham city centre overnight. The student union's graduation ball, due to take place on Tuesday evening, was abandoned. Counter-terrorism police are assisting the investigation as detectives tried to understand what triggered the horrifying events, but with Nottinghamshire police still leading the investigation. Police are trying to locate any phones or computers the suspect used in the hope they can shed some light on what happened. A man who did not give his name told the BBC he had witnessed the 2 students being attacked with a knife on Ilkeston Road at about 4 a.m. He reported hearing screams and saw a man dressed all in black with a hood and rucksack grappling with some people. He told the broadcaster, "She was screaming, 'Help! I just wish I'd shouted something out of the window to unnerve the assailant. I saw him stab the lad first, and then the woman.' The lad collapsed in the middle of the road. The girl stumbled towards a house and didn't move. The next minute she had disappeared down the side of a house, and that's where they found her. I'd say it all happened within 5 or 6 minutes." David Mellon, leader of the local council, told BBC Radio Nottingham that those struck by the van were waiting at a bus stop early in the morning, around 1 mile from the scene of collision. A white van was later visible with dents to the bonnet and damage to its window, and under police guard. Lynn Haggett, a witness, told Channel 4 News she saw a van hitting 2 people in Nottingham. "At 5:30, I saw a van pull up at the side of me," she said. "It was white, all white. There was a police car behind it coming up slowly, no flashing lights. The man in the driver's seat looked in his mirror and saw the police car behind him." She said the white van then drove up to the corner of the street and went into 2 people. The lady ended up on the curb, and then he backed up the white van and speeded up Parliament Street, with the police cars following him, she added. Petra Guricka and her husband, Miklos Toldi, said they were among the first to discover the body of the man on Magdala Road at 5:30 a.m. They were headed to Guricka's workplace when they saw the man lying on his side outside Magdala Tennis Club. She said, "I was just leaving for work, my husband gave me a lift, and then we were leaving, and we saw the body lying on the floor, and then we saw the blood, and I just told my husband to stop. I tried to call 999, but I couldn't get connection. Someone else came as well in another car, and he called." Guricka said she believed the man was dead by the time they found him. She said, "We stayed, and first a police car came, and then another 2 police cars came, and then an ambulance came. The police, they started CPR, but it was too late. I mean, you could just see." Police say the van was stopped on Maple Street, where a man was tasered and arrested by officers on suspicion of murder. Dimitrios Lawani, a witness to the arrest, said 2 officers were pulling a man with tasers pointed at him, and said he heard shouts of, "Get down, get out," stop fighting. Nottinghamshire's Chief Constable, Kate Maynell, said the attacks were shocking and tragic, and said the city centre was safe to visit. We are still in the early stages of the investigation and need to determine the motives behind these attacks. We are keeping an open mind and are working alongside counter-terrorism policing to establish the facts. Bishop's Hole Cricket Club paid tribute to Webber, describing him as a dear friend who was a key part of the club. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, said, "I am being kept updated on developments. The police must be given the time to undertake their work. My thoughts are with those injured, and the family and loved ones of those who have lost their lives." Nottingham's 3 Labour MPs, Nadia Whittome, Lillian Greenwood and Alex Norris, said they were shaken by the events in the city. French President Emmanuel Macron said his country shares the grief with Britain and stands by their side. The UK's terrorist threat level for the mainland is at substantial, meaning an attack is likely.
Police were called to Wilkeston Road just after 4 a.m. after a member of the public reported that 2 people aged 19 had been stabbed and were unresponsive. We had a further call to another incident in Milton Street, where the driver of a stolen van had attempted to run over 3 people. As a result, 1 man is in hospital in a critical condition, while 2 others are believed to have suffered minor injuries. The van was then stopped on Maple Street, where a man was tasered and detained by police officers on suspicion of murder. A man in his 50s was also found dead from knife injuries in Magdala Road by a member of the public. At the moment, we believe that the suspect has stolen this man's vehicle and driven it to Milton Street, where he is then driven at members of the public. We are still in the early stages of the investigation and need to determine exactly what the motives were behind this attack.